In this video, I'm going to introduce 7 word order guidelines in Dutch that you should be aware of. Please note that I'm only discussing word order within one sentence in this video. Watch this video if you want to learn more about conjunctions and other ways to connect sentences. These are the 7 word order rules or guidelines I will be explaining in this video. At this point you may not understand what they are all referring to, but I will explain them one by one. As you may already know, in a standard sentence without certain conjunctions, the first verb takes a second position in the sentence. This will happen in different kinds of scenarios. So, if you start a sentence with a time expression, you follow up with a verb and only then the subject. Here we have the sentence, Nu ga ik naar huis. In the standard sentence with the subject in front, the verb is also second. Ik ga nu naar huis. The phenomenon of the verb coming in front of the subject is officially called inversion. This also happens with expressions of place, like in thuis werk ik niet. And if you start a sentence with a specific object, like in dat boek wil ik niet kopen. And also, for example, if you are starting the sentence with information about how something is done, as in the following 2 sentences. Zo gaan we dat niet doen. And met jou wil ik Nederlands oefenen. At the bottom of this collection of sentences, you see question sentences. Strictly speaking, the verb is not always second here, but it is always in front of the subject, as in here. Wat wil je doen? And wil je iets doen? The second word order guideline is to put the time expressions in front of place. I have to give you a disclaimer that this is quite flexible in Dutch. The first sentence, ik ga nu naar huis, sounds better than ik ga naar huis nu. But the second version is also possible, at least in spoken or informal language. In the second expression, both word order versions are almost equally good. I will provide a reason for this later in the video. So feel free to say either ik ga om 8 uur naar huis or ik ga naar huis om 8 uur. The next example looks like the first example, where the first word order rule is better or more standard. Please note that if you use the words hier or daar, the Dutch words for here and there, it is similarly good to say either ik ben nu hier and ik ben hier nu. And hij is vandaag daar next to hij is daar vandaag. So there is a lot of flexibility with time here. This third guideline is quite important and may be new to you, especially if you compare it to English. If you use a specified object or person in a sentence, the safe thing to do is to use it relatively early in the sentence, especially if it is just one word, as in the first 2 sentences. Ik begrijp dit nooit. Ik zie jou morgen. If you have a combination of words referring to a specified object or person, you may expect more flexibility, however, as in the last 2 examples. Hij kan deze factuur nu betalen, or hij kan nu deze factuur betalen. And ik zie jouw auto daar altijd, or ik zie daar altijd jouw auto. Closely related to this is the fourth guideline, where you should use a not specified object relatively late in the sentence, except when you have time expressions, which can be quite flexible. The example sentences on the left are read as follows. Ik zie morgen een nieuwe collega. Hij kan nu een factuur betalen. And ik zie daar altijd een auto. The next rule or pattern that we can see in Dutch is that expressions with prepositions can often be swapped, as you can see in sentences like ik ga met de fiets naar het werk and ik ga om 8 uur naar huis, where you have different groups of words that start with a preposition. So in a sense, there is a balance between them. You can easily swap positions, as in the sentences on the right. Ik ga naar het werk met de fiets and ik ga naar huis om 8 uur. On the other hand, if you have one sentence part without a preposition and another sentence part with a preposition, it is wiser to put that one later. So you should say, ik ga snel naar het werk, and not, ik ga naar het werk snel. Also, the sentence, ik ga nu naar huis, is better or more standard than, ik ga naar huis nu. There is another guideline that is very counterintuitive when you are used to speaking English, which is that Dutch verbs easily get separated in a sentence. The first verb and the second verb can be very far away from each other, and other sentence parts are put in between them, as in a sandwich. So we can go from wij willen eten to wij willen nu eten to wij willen nu in een restaurant eten, and finally wij willen nu in een restaurant iets lekkers eten. However, there is some flexibility. For example, you can also say wij willen nu iets lekkers eten in een restaurant. The second group of sentences ends with zij moeten nu naar huis gaan. I have a question for you. Can we also say zij moeten nu gaan naar huis? And if not, why not? Think about it. The answer is we should not say this. The reason why is that in Dutch, if you have a verb somewhere at the end of a sentence, you should think well what belongs right in front of that verb. Here you should not say zij moeten nu gaan naar huis, because nu doesn't belong to gaan. Naar huis belongs to gaan. So the sentence should end with naar huis gaan. In the second example, the word order is correct because eten belongs to the thing you eat, namely iets lekkers. So you should use the combination iets lekkers eten. Of course, you can also put all of this at the end. Wij willen nu in een restaurant iets lekkers eten, which you saw in the previous slide. Another interesting observation we can make is that specific objects can often be flexible, because they can be used early in the sentence. But on the other hand, you can also often connect them with a verb at the end of a sentence, as in these examples. Hij kan deze factuur nu betalen, and hij kan nu deze factuur betalen. If you have a not specified object, you don't have this flexibility, so you can only say hij kan nu een factuur betalen. Now let's put all of this to the test. Every sentence here contains an error. Can you see what it is and which word order guideline is violated? Pause the video and take your time. Here are the answers. The sentences are read as follows. Wij moeten nu op de bus wachten. Hij wil in de klas vragen stellen. Overmorgen kunnen wij gaan. Zullen we een broodje eten? Zullen we snel een broodje eten? Doe jij het morgen? Thank you for your attention. I hope you now have a better grasp of Dutch word order. Feel free to leave your questions and comments in the comment section, and please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.